Good afternoon, now welcome to Lunchtime News. You're with me, Cyril Fonseca. Before we head into our stories, first we'll take a look at headlines in detail.
Cabinet meets again today. Most Venerable Girambe Ananda Thera, Anunayaka of the Sri Lanka Ramanya sect, passes away. UPFA members carry flower buds to the Central Provincial Council monthly meeting. Maldivian opposition MPs boycott session, calling for extension of state of emergency.
Most Venerable Girambe Ananda Thera, Anunayaka of the Sri Lanka Ramanya sector, passed away at the age of 80 years this morning.
The Most Venerable Thera was receiving treatment at the Sri Javadanapura Hospital at the time of his demise. Venerable Girambe Ananda Thera rendered a great service to the society as the chief prelate of the Sarananda Mahapirivena in Anuradhapura and Sri Sarananda Pirivena Ubhaya Viharaya in Peradeniya. A discussion will be held this evening at the Anuradhapura Sri Sarananda Mahapirivena regarding the final rites of the late Most Venerable Thera.
Cabinet ministers have currently gathered at the Presidential Secretariat office.
You did see a crisis, but not to the extent you see. There is no crisis now. With the discussions, we have been carrying out the duties.
An elephant reported to have been roaming in Mawatagama has died this morning.
The elephant was earlier treated by doctors for multiple gunshots. Wildlife officers said the elephant had fallen sick yesterday and was treated by the veterinary doctors attached to the wildlife office. Villagers of Tabbova and Karualagaswawa are threatened by a herd of elephants encroaching the village and destroying crops at night. There are reports of a wild elephant in the village since last afternoon.
The prolonged drought is causing severe water shortage for the most basic needs of people in Tirupennai, Anuradhapura.
250 families in Panish Rambawa, Tulane Galkiriyagama, Rambawa and Atulgama South villages attached to the Tirupennai Divisional Secretariat are faced with lack of drinking water. The villagers are requesting the authorities to at least provide them with drinking water as they are currently forced to buy water. "200 hectares of crops have been completely destroyed due to the lack of water."
United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres have welcomed a decision adopted under Sri Lanka's presidency to advance work of conference on withdrawal in Geneva.
The conference on disarmament was presided over by Sri Lanka's permanent representative to the UN in Geneva, Ambassador Ravinatha Aryasinghe, on Friday. The Sri Lankan mission in Geneva said in a statement a decision was adopted to establish 5 subsidiary bodies to discuss all items in its agenda with a view to advance the substantive work of the conference. The decision, described as a quote-unquote well-brokered balance between flexibility and safeguards and offered a framework for a more focused and continued debate on core issues, seeks to bring the CD back to its original mandate of negotiating disarmament instruments. Since its negotiation of the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty in 1996, the Conference on Disarmament is yet to negotiate any new treaty. In a statement released, the spokesman for the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said, Quote-unquote, the Secretary-General commends the members of the conference for achieving this positive step, which he hopes will lead to resumption of negotiations on effective measures for disarmament and arms control.
A fire broke out in Vallavai, Munaragala and was doused with the help of army. 150 hectares of land has been destroyed. The prevailing drought and windy conditions caused the fire to spread. UPFM ministers attached to the Central Provincial Council arrived at their monthly meeting. The ministers carrying a flower bud showing their support to Sri Lanka Podujalan Perumuna. Meeting then started its usual proceedings. After a brief recovery on Friday from a record lows experience at the start of last week, the Sri Lankan rupee edged down again yesterday on the imported dollar demand. The political uncertainty continued to weigh on investors' sentiment according to Reuters reports.
The rupee ended at 155.40 per dollar compared with Friday's close of 155.10. The rupee hit a record low of 155.90 on the 14th of February. Further, a dealer said, quote-unquote, exporters were reluctant to sell due to political uncertainty. The local currency has weakened 1.3% so far this year. The domestic currency lost 2.5% last year and 3.9% in 2016.
Is there a potential for a free trade agreement between Britain and Sri Lanka following Brexit? Join Biz in Focus tonight at 9:30 p.m. on TV1 for an exclusive interview with the British Prime Minister's trade envoy to Sri Lanka, the Honourable Ranil Jayawardena, Conservative Member of Parliament.
Is there a potential for a free trade agreement between Britain and Sri Lanka following Brexit? Join Biz in Focus tonight at 9:30 on TV1 for an exclusive interview with the British Prime Minister's trade envoy to Sri Lanka, the Honourable Ranil Jayawardena, Conservative Member of Parliament.